Hi, everybody. It's Sarah here at Quantum Leap, and we're back with our Leap of the Week. This week's topic is what are the best hip strengthening exercises? And I wanted to give you kind of a sort of internet titillating title so that you'll click through because that's actually not at all what I do here. This comes very much under the heading of it depends. And if you are not familiar with the it depends concept, I recommend that you go back and watch the video that I made last week that talks about the ground rules that I have here and why this is going to be more of a discussion and less of a here is the answer always, forever, and forever. So what I'm planning on doing is in the first half of this video, I'm going to answer that question. And then in the second half of the video, I'm going to go ahead and take that answer away. So if you are somebody who really likes to know what the answer is, you're going to want to stop watching about halfway through and then just plug your ears and go la 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 and pretend like the rest didn't happen. However, if you are more interested in becoming a little more sophisticated, and I think that you are because you're here, in your thinking about movement and the choices that you make for your students and your clients, I think the second half of this will be of interest to you. So, with no further ado, what are the best exercises for strengthening the hips? And there's probably a few different ways that you could go about trying to answer that question. I am going to use some research that was done pretty recently, and this research looks at something called the maximum voluntary contraction, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's what's the maximum amount that a muscle could contract. And the way that this is studied, and oh, by the way, the studies were done by Greenspan, and the dates of the studies are 2014, 2015, and 2016. So you can go and look up some of that research. It's really interesting. And so the way they study it is they insert fine wire needles into the muscle, and they position people in different ways, and then have them contract the muscle and see what position gets the most percentage of that maximum voluntary contraction. And, they try standing and they try lying down and they try all sorts of different things. And so the results that were found for extension of the hip, for gluteus maximus specifically, not the hamstrings, the position that was found to get the most contraction was prone. So it makes sense. You're going against gravity. So, for example, if you were in a plank and you lifted one of your legs, or if you were just lying down on your belly and you lifted a leg. The other position that was found to be most effective is what's known as tall kneeling, which is also just called kneeling. You're on your knees. And I'm not clear, I need to go back and look. If it's walking forwards or walking backwards, I'm assuming there's some movement involved. But so tall kneeling and then prone, those were the two that were the most effective for hip extension. And then if we look at hip abduction, that kind of lateral stabilizers, the gluteus medius in particular, the position that got the maximum voluntary contraction were a few different ones. Hip hikes, so just hiking your hip up higher on one side. And then also side-lying abduction of the leg, lifting the leg away from the bottom leg. And again, that makes sense because you're going against gravity. It's going to be the most work. You're going to have to contract the most. And then also in standing, abduction, but not the leg that you're lifting, actually the leg that you're standing on had the highest numbers. So there you go. There's the answer to the question. I'm leaving a little time and space for the people who like to leave at this point so they can leave. And okay, so for the rest of us, there's certainly a lot of other things that you want to be thinking about. And I'm in no way am I maligning this research. This research was set out to look at something and it got the answers that we were looking for, and it's really well done. However, if you are now in front of a client or a student, what if they can't lie on their belly? What if they can't do a plank because they've got wrist or elbow or something wrong with their shoulder, or they just don't have enough strength to do it? What if they can't kneel because they have knee problems? So yes, these are the poses that give you the maximum in a sort of ideal, everyone's exactly the same world, but we don't live in that world. So what I want you to start thinking about is, what's the best hip strengthening exercise for the person in front of me? And it might not be this maximum voluntary contraction position. The other thing I want you to think about is, does this actually translate functionally to what the person is doing in their life? So what's being measured in these studies is a concentric contraction. But in life, a lot of the muscles around your hip, you actually tend to use eccentrically, like for things like walking, rather than concentrically. So you may be choosing exercises for someone based on what they're trying to do. Are they trying to get up and down from the floor? Are they trying to pop up on their surfboard? Are they just trying to walk better? Whatever it may be. So you have to consider that as well. And then the other thing, the big, big elephant of what was not discussed here so far is, what about everything else that's attached to your hip? Like ligaments and tendons and fascia and bones, right? What about how all of those affect your hip stability? So instead of coming at your knowledge, this is what I want your big takeaway to be. Instead of coming at your knowledge from this very sort of binary, yes or no, black and white, there's one right answer kind of place, I want you to get a little matrix on it for me. I want you to start to think instead, there is no spoon. And if you don't remember the matrix, you can go look that up. I'm sure the clip is on YouTube somewhere. So change your question. Think about your clients. Make your questions more specific to their needs. And then the answer will be clear. I hope this was helpful. And I look forward to any other questions or comments you might have. Please leave them below. And I will talk to you next time. All right.